The galaxy's oldest star map had one removed world. The map was older than the Galactic Council, older than recorded history, older than most stars still burning. It was carved into a slab of crystallized space-time, an artifact so ancient that even modern sensors could barely agree on its age. Found drifting between dead galaxies, preserved in perfect vacuum, untouched by entropy. The Prime Cartographic Archive had spent centuries cataloging it. Every known civilization, every extinct empire, every lost system, all mapped, all accounted for. Except one. Archivist Trelkan noticed it by accident.
He had been running a routine cross-reference, comparing the ancient map against modern stellar databases, when the anomaly appeared.
A gap, not empty space, not a supernova remnant, not gravitational collapse, just nothing. A circular absence where a star system should have been, perfectly excised. Trelkan leaned closer, mandibles tightening. That's impossible, he muttered. Stars died, planets shattered. But star systems did not vanish without trace. Yet the map showed something unsettling. Every nearby system was labeled in an archaic script, names long forgotten but still identifiable, except the missing one. Where a name should have been, there was a deliberate blank, not erased, removed. The council convened within hours. Scholars, astrophysicists, temporal analysts, and one human observer. Dr. Elena Morozova, attached to the council as a historical consultant, sat quietly at the far end of the chamber. She was the only human present. The projection activated, displaying the ancient map beside the modern stellar chart. The absence was undeniable. A natural explanation? Asked a Valari counselor. No radiation residue, replied a Zirath physicist. No debris field. No gravitational distortion. A Thrin war historian growled. Then it was destroyed. Trelkan shook his head slowly. No, he said. Destroyed systems leave scars. He gestured at the map. This is surgery. The chamber grew quiet. Dr. Morozova leaned forward slightly. Has anyone checked the chronological layers? She asked. Several counselors turned. The archivist hesitated. This map predates most temporal reference frameworks. Humor me, Elena said calmly. They overlaid time depth scans. And that was when the truth grew worse. The missing system wasn't absent from all layers. Only from everything after a specific point. Before that, it existed. A yellow star, several rocky planets, one with oceans, life markers. The chamber buzzed. So it was removed during recorded galactic history, a counselor whispered. No, Elena said quietly. It was removed from history. The Zirath physicist stared at the data. This would require localized space-time excision, reality editing, causal overwrite on a stellar scale. That level of technology doesn't exist, snapped the Thrin. Elena didn't look up. Doesn't exist anymore, she corrected. Silence followed. Trelkan hesitated, then asked the question no one else wanted to. Doctor, does this system correspond to any known human records? Elena closed her eyes for a moment, then nodded. Yes. The word landed like a meteor. She stood and walked toward the projection. That system, she said, pointing at the void, appears in humanity's oldest pre-expansion myths. The council exchanged uneasy glances. Myths? Someone scoffed. Records, Elena corrected. Just not the kind you like. She zoomed the map further. That planet had a name, she continued. A forbidden one. She hesitated, then spoke it. Erebus. The word triggered alarms across the archive. Ancient hazard markers flared to life, symbols none of the present species still used. Trelkan's voice trembled. That designation appears in extinction class annotations. Yes, Elena said. And humanity remembers why. The Valari counselor leaned forward. What happened there? Elena exhaled slowly. We don't know everything, she admitted. Only what survived the edits. She brought up a fragment. Human data recovered from a derelict probe, its timestamp broken, its origin erased. The audio crackled. This isn't war, this is containment. They can't be allowed to spread. If this fails, erase the system, all of it. The chamber went still. A species did this? The Thrin asked. Elena shook her head. No. She looked up. A threat forced it. Trelkan scanned deeper. There are council seals embedded in the map, he said slowly. Ancient ones, multi-species. The realization spread like ice. You're saying, the Zirath whispered, that the galaxy agreed to remove an entire world? Elena nodded, and then agreed to forget it. A junior archivist spoke up hesitantly. There's a notation, added later. They highlighted it. A single line. Written in a language only partially translated. Elena recognized it instantly. She swallowed. It's human, she said. The translation rendered, world removed by consensus.
Do not rediscover.
If found again, run. The council chamber erupted.
This is absurd!
Why wasn't this disclosed? Why does humanity know about it? Elena met their eyes. Because we were the ones sent in last. The Thryn stood abruptly. You fought whatever was there? Elena nodded once. We lost, she said. Badly. Silence followed. Then how did the world vanish? Trelkan asked. Elena's voice dropped. We didn't defeat it, she said. We erased the battlefield. She gestured at the void. Star, planets, history, records, causality. She paused. And then we made sure no one would ever try to claim credit for it. The Zereth physicist trembled. You weaponized reality. Elena gave a humorless smile. No, she said. We burned the bridge behind the universe. A counselor whispered. What if it wasn't fully destroyed? Elena's smile vanished. Then this map wouldn't have a blank, she said. It would have a warning beacon. The meeting adjourned in silence. The artifact was sealed. The data restricted. But as Elena prepared to leave, Trelkan stopped her. Doctor, he asked quietly, why does the map still exist? Elena looked back at the ancient slab. So we'd remember one thing, she said. What's that? She met his gaze. That humanity doesn't erase worlds lightly. She turned to leave. And if we ever do it again, she paused at the door. It means the alternative was worse. Later, deep within the archive's metadata, an automated system flagged a new anomaly, a faint stellar signature, emerging. Near the location of the void, the alert was classified immediately, and somewhere on Earth, an old protocol activated. A single line of text appeared on a secure human console. Removed world, possible recursion detected. Beneath it, another line followed. Authorization requested. And for the first time in millennia, humanity prepared to remember why a world had been erased. From the stars. Alien General, I have 1,000,000 soldiers! Human Captain. Good, I have 1,000,000 targets. The invasion force blocked out the stars. That was not poetic exaggeration. It was mathematics. 1,000,000 troop carriers descended into low orbit above Kestrel 9, a neutral colony world claimed by the Threxian Dominion. Their formation was flawless, layered like an armored sky. Each carrier held 1,000 soldiers, 1,000,000 soldiers total, enough to conquer entire systems. From the command deck of the flagship Dominion's Wrath, General Craxilvo watched the planet below with satisfaction. Broadcast the ultimatum, he ordered. The signal pulsed across every frequency. This world is now under Threxian protection. Surrender immediately. Resistance is futile. Most species complied. That was how it always went. The Threxians were not cruel. They were efficient. Overwhelming force minimized casualties. 1,000,000 soldiers ensured no prolonged conflict. But this time something unusual happened. Another signal cut in. Clear, calm, human.
This is Captain Elena Ward of the UNS Red Horizon.
The human ship was laughably small, barely a speck compared to the Dominion fleet. One vessel, scarred hull, no escort. Craxilvo's mandibles flexed in amusement. Humans, he said. You are not listed as claimants of this world. Ward's voice didn't waver. We're not, she replied. We're just the ones standing here. Craxilvo leaned closer to the display. Captain Ward, he said smoothly. You face the full might of the Threxian Dominion. I command 1,000,000 soldiers. There was a pause. Then the human captain answered. Good, she said. Craxilvo blinked. I have 1,000,000 targets. The bridge erupted in laughter. Even seasoned Threxian officers clicked in amusement. A single human ship versus a planetary invasion force. Absurd. Your bravado is noted, Craxilvo said. You will withdraw or be destroyed. Ward sighed. General, she said. Before we continue, may I ask something? Craxilvo gestured dismissively. Speak. How many wars has your Dominion fought? 4,112, he answered proudly. And how many did you lose? None. Ward nodded slowly. Yeah, that tracks. The Red Horizon didn't fire. Instead, it moved. Its trajectory shifted. Erratic, aggressive, not evasive, purposeful. Threxian targeting systems locked on. Then began to fail. General, an officer barked. Their ship is distorting local gravity. That is impossible, Craxilvo snapped. The human ship surged forward. Not through hyperspace, not through warp, but something uglier. Human. Ward's voice returned. See, General, humans don't fight wars the way you do. A pause. We fight them like we're losing. The Red Horizon released its first payload, not missiles, pods. Thousands of them. They burned through the atmosphere like meteor storms. Track those objects, Craxilvo shouted. The data streamed in. His blood ran cold. They weren't bombs. They were drop beacons. "Ground forces reporting contact," an officer screamed. "Human infantry already planetside." "How did they beat us down?" Ward's voice came again. "You assumed we'd bring an army," she said. "We brought experience." The surface feeds ignited. Human soldiers, outnumbered 1,000 to 1, moved like predators. No fixed formations, no glorious charges. They sabotaged supply lines, hijacked Threxian comms, turned enemy equipment against itself. Threxian soldiers fell, not to superior firepower, but to chaos. "General," an officer whispered, "we are losing cohesion." Craxilvo snarled. "Deploy more troops." Another transmission interrupted. "Human, you can keep landing them," Ward said calmly. "We'll keep counting." The red horizon finally fired. One shot. A kinetic round accelerated to a fraction of light speed. It didn't target ships. It targeted orbit. A shockwave rippled. 300 troop carriers lost stable positioning. They didn't explode. They collided. The Dominion fleet staggered. "This is madness," Craxilvo roared. Ward replied quietly. "No," she said. "This is Monday." Reports flooded in. Human units were laughing, singing, joking over open comms while under fire. Threxian morale began to crack. They had never fought an enemy that treated annihilation like a problem to work through. "General," the tactical officer said, voice shaking, "we still have 800,000 soldiers." Craxilvo stared at the display. Human ships were arriving now. Not fleets, individuals. Cargo haulers retrofitted with weapons. Exploration vessels with armor welded on. Civilian craft answering a call no formal military had issued. Ward's final message came through. "You still have 1 million soldiers," she said. "And I still have 1 million targets." A